There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Now, I don't know about you, but there is just something about high-end audio that turns my crank. When it comes to loudspeakers, there's something about those European-made loudspeakers as well. I don't know what it is, but it's always been there. And today, we're going to dive deep into a brand that's making a lot of noise. Of course, we're talking about BLAM. And the mind behind BLAM loudspeakers, legendary speaker designer Guy Bonneville, will be joining us as well. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM, all about BLAM audio. And it starts now. What's going on, car audio heads? Welcome to another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I am your host, Ben Wu, and I am so excited to dive into what we're calling the Audiophile sessions. Yes, high-end audio coming at you from every angle for the next, get it, month. That's how many brands we've got presenting. And of course, today we're kicking it off strong with a brand, what you could some say somewhat of a newer player in the market as far as North America is concerned. But man, the growth that it has experienced, nothing short of very, very exciting. And spearheading the effort is, of course, their North American distributor, MSC. Now, when I first heard of BLAM, I was like, ooh, first of all, great name. Second of all, Guy Bonneville. Okay, check. And then we got deeper into the line. Now, I'm not sure if the boys are covering the entire line today, but I know you guys are tuned in because you want to talk about high-end gear. I promise you we are going to deliver on that today. All right, let's go ahead and connect with our good friends at MSC all the way in Calgary. Oh, yes, we've got both of them in the house today. First, we have our president, Mr. Larry Penn, and the DSP cowboy himself, specialty dealer development guy, Mr. Chris Van Rye. What's going on, fellas?
Great, Ben. How are you doing?
I am pumped because I think it's not a secret. I think everybody knows I kind of get excited when we're talking about higher end gear in general in every category because, man, that's what it's all about. You know, we work so hard so that when I sit down and have a chance or in a reasonable time frame, be able to enjoy music, you know, at the utmost height of experience, I want great gear. And that's what this Audiophile sessions are all about. And we're starting with you guys with this particular brand. Of course, we have other sessions that we'll be doing with you as well. On the menu today is BLAM. So, Larry, let me start with you. I know that this is something that you hold near and dear to your heart. You kind of brought it in. It's your baby. You've been growing it, nurturing it. How has the evolution of the BLAM footprint within North America been in the last, let's call it last year?
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit more than that because our relationship with Guy and the BLAM company goes back many, many years before Guy was even involved with BLAM, and I'll let him explain all that when we bring him on. But over the last 5 years, we've had pretty explosive growth over in Canada and in the US. It's just been phenomenal growth for us, and that's because of the product. Guy has built a product that is unique, that sounds wonderful, that is high performance, that is priced right, and then we're doing our job by making sure it's a protected dealer base, so everybody can have their own little chunk of the world to sell to, and our technical support and training that we offer on the product is the same as we do with any other product.
Well, that says a lot. I think we're all aware of the level of training that you guys are committed to for dealers, and I want to just touch on that point that you just made. You know, this is not one of those products / brands that you're going to find, you know, at every corner, at every shop, online, so on. This is kind of exclusive. And I think MSC has done a really good job in making sure that it remains that way. Now, Chris, from a technical standpoint, you get to play with this stuff, you lucky guy. And we're touching on some, I would call mid-end to some pretty high-end stuff today, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to cover off kind of the two of what we consider the most unique products out of the entire lineup. I mean, Guy's done an incredible job top to bottom of creating things that are unique, that are effective for all different categories. But today we're going to lean into the flagship stuff, the top tier, which is really special. And then we're going to touch on another line, the Live series, which is cool because he's done some unique things in terms of the design and the voicing aspects of it to target specific features in the music set. So we'll let Guy dive into what makes that stuff so special. But we're going to cover off kind of a mid-fi and a hi-fi today.
Beautiful. I mean, that is something I'm looking forward to hear in his words. The voicing, which I think is a pretty unique characteristic in this category, whereby the manufacturers actually voiced specific speakers for specific types or genres of music. So definitely we're going to cover that. I wanted to take this opportunity, gentlemen, to kind of share with you some feedback that I've heard in speaking with dealers who have had the opportunity to
bring it on. We'd love to hear.
Starting from the packaging, it's pretty high-end. Customers are very impressed just when they take it out, they open it. I think this is one of those pieces that you do want to take the box out, show the customer, put the driver in their hands. I mean, that stuff, that whole touchy-feely thing, awesome experience. But more importantly, the sound. These are not speakers that are too hard to drive. Now, I can't speak to the MultiX, for example. We didn't talk about that. But they're efficient. They sound fantastic. And, man, no returns. That is something I wanted to point out. Everybody has said that, so I wanted to share that info with you. Okay, enough of me talking. We're going to set up the show with a video. Let's set the precedent so people know if they've heard listening or being exposed to this brand for the first time. This is a corporate video. Give you an explanation of the footprint and what BLAM is all about. Let's go ahead and roll the tape. Something about seeing real human beings put something together that we can listen to definitely turns my crank. We have obviously our special guest that's in the back studio, Larry. I want to give if you can bring Larry back. Excuse, I want to give him the opportunity. Can you please introduce our guest for us and give him a little bit of a drum roll here?
It's a big drum roll. As I said, I've known Guy now for close to 30 years on our association with another brand that he was involved with, and I have never seen outside of our office somebody that is as passionate and as excited and as driven as Guy is in regards to his product. So he's technically smart, he's marketing smart, he understands what our dealers are up against and are building products that will help our dealers into the future.
Amazing. Well, that's a very good drum roll. All right, let's set the stage here. Backstage, we're going to go straight to France at the BLAM headquarters, where owner Mr. Guy Bonneville himself is standing by to join us. Welcome to the show, Mr. Bonneville.
Hey, bonjour.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm very good. Very nice to be here. And thank you very much for inviting me. I'm sorry, my English is not as good as I would like, but I will try to make
Oh,
you understand
I don't think your
what I
English
mean.
is anywhere as bad as you think it is. And honestly, we're just excited to have you on, Guy. We want to kind of have an opportunity to pick your brain and get your perspective on maybe some of your designs. Because from what I understand, I think Larry and Chris, we're going to walk through a couple of the products. And certainly we'd love to hear some of your ideas and the passion behind the design of each of those products. I think is going to be a real treat for everybody here.
Yeah, I think the most important is the passion, because as driven by passion, still driven by passion for a long time, and very exciting every day to listen music in the car. Still thinking that a car still the best place to listen music. Either in home I have a very good hand, but in home I have so many distractions. I cannot be focused on listening music. And in the car, it's a real small space, so good to listen music. This is why it's still a very big passion, because I still, of course, loving listening music every day. And one day without music is like one day without laughing. Is bad day.
One day without music is like a day without laughing. That's amazing. And it's great to see
Yes.
the energy, the passion that you still have. Now, Larry and Chris, I assume I see that there's a BLAM cam in the bottom right of our screen here. We're going to go and cover some products. I would love it if we would kind of get you guys to kind of walk us through what it is. I know Chris does this brilliantly as well. And then maybe give an opportunity for Guy to kind of comment on his ideas and design cues on these products.
Yeah, I would like to have Guy, if possible, share his history in the product development and where he's been, and that'll help lead into the product. So, Guy, if I could get you to talk about where you started and kind of how you rolled into the BLAM product range.
Yes, if I come up from the beginning, my passion was starting when I was a teenager, because I was absolutely loving music, and then I became a DJ, and of course I get a car, and the place to share the music in the car was very easy to share the music in the car, and also easy to share in the club. And it's why I get this passion to sharing music. And as I learn electronic and acoustic, I was starting to build my first car. And because of this, because near my place was a big company, a well-known big company, I joined this company to design a speaker, to start things and design speaker. And in 2012, I decided to change a lot of things in my life, and to take the opportunity to have a chance to go a little forward in the patient. I mean, going forward in the patient without too much, how to say, contraint. I don't know the name.
Contract.
And it's why I starting BLAM in 2013. With the idea of making what I really like to do as just for my personal use. And I start to spend a lot of time, maybe 2 years, to design some speaker, and go a little in front of what was my real conception of the sound. And this idea, what I call it the French sound, is especially based on the reproductive voice. Because to have a very good sound system, the most important, more easy to listen, if how to say, to be close to nature, is the voice, because voice is very is something very easy to recognize. And this is why I focus on this. Also because our culture, because French people really focus on the voice more than on the. But then I make a lot of development to get high efficiency, high power speaker, keeping very, very natural voice.
Before you go too far, I mean, this is an incredible story. It's a story of. Did you say you used to DJ? I didn't know that was new. But a DJ turned sound engineer turned speaker designer, who all of a sudden had an epiphany and say, you know what, I want to go a different direction and bring my personal passion to the sound. I think what you described there is something that's very signature for BLAM, which is the French sound. I was hoping you were going to talk about that, and that the focus was on the elements of the voice, as in the human voice, within music, and that's what our ears can identify with ease. So, are you saying that the focus on the performance and the audio signature of your speakers has really been focused on bringing out all the details of the human voice through music?
Yes, but not. Sorry, I don't get that.
My question, Guy, was, you mentioned that your focus for the design of your speakers was to bring out the voice in music and the vocals. Let's call it the vocals in music. Do you feel that is something that makes that French sounds very signature?
It's a part of the signature, but of course the voice is one component, but efficiency. Sorry, I don't know if it's for me because there is some cut. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You're good, Guy.
You're good.
Okay. Yes. 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 The voice is one part, but the efficiency, the power handling, and so to have something with a very natural balance, keeping very smooth treble, and keeping details is very important. To give a sound is, how to say, powerful, warm, and detail, and think a little joyful, something who make you very easy and avoid any stress. Because sometimes if you have too much detail or how to say, you can have something with a little code. Our target, yes, when we design speaker is to find the good balance for the global balance, to have something warm, details, and yes, music.
Larry, maybe you can. I would like to hear your
cut in there.
Yeah,
because we've spent a lot of time in Europe, and one of the things that is different around the world is finding how the different cultures listen to music. So we've listened to a lot of cars in the Asian world, and a lot of cars in the European world, and a lot of cars in the North American world, and everybody has their signature sound for their culture. And I think what Guy has done, and we'll dig in a little deeper on the live product, but Guy has done an amazing job of building a world speaker, let's call it. We always hear that in the automotive world about building a world car. And the European, whether it's BMW or Audi or Porsche, they're building one car for the world. And that, I can't begin to explain to you guys how difficult that is, especially with sound, because every country and every continent and every culture listens differently or requires something different for their music, because not even music isn't the same all over the world. But one thing that you can be sure of, we have worked with Guy now even before we started distributing the product at our proof of concept retail store. We were offering the BLAM product to our clients just in Calgary, so we were the only place in North America that was selling the product, because we wanted to make sure and give Guy feedback of what the North American listener thought about the product, reliability of the product, and we had a lot of input for Guy on how to change certain elements with the speaker to make it appealing to the North American listener.
Yes.
And we had a couple years to play with this product and make sure that it was going to be reliable. And we, excuse the term, but we beat it up, fed it a lot of power, gave it to some clients that were destroying other things. And as you said, Ben, at the launch of the show, the product is super reliable. We just don't see a lot of it back like we have with other products. So that's really the focus of all this. So
I would like one more thing from you, Larry.
yeah.
Comment on the way that he is describing how he intends those speakers to sound, in your words, from your experience.
Yeah, one thing you'll notice about a BLAM speaker is it's very accurate, and depending on the model that you're listening to, and we'll get into that, as I say, with the live stuff a little bit better. But Guy's intention is to bring the French sound to the world market, and that's very accurate mid-range and high frequency, but done in a smooth, easy listening way. We like to call it our fun speakers here in the company, because every client that we see roll out of our proof of concept retail store, why are we buying audio for the car? The car is where most of us turn into our own DJ in our own mind, and we want that fun factor. We want the dynamics. We want to be able to listen to it a little louder than we would with our home audio system, because the kids and wife and family are all there. In the car, it's just you and the volume knob. So it's got to be dynamic. It's got to be loud. It's got to be accurate. And we'll put all those words, and I love all these superlatives that we use in audio. The one word that I'll continue to use with BLAM is fun. When you get in, you put your favorite tune on, and you grab the volume knob and give it a turn. It's fun to listen to.
That's a super audiophile techie term you're using there.
That's right. Well, we could use some chocolatey mid-range and a woolly twist and all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
no, I hear you.
The reality is, when you listen to it, we want you to be in the middle of a live performance, and that's where we're putting you.
Right.
And Guy's done a terrific job with that. And one of the first speakers that we want to talk about and highlight is the epitome, the top end of the product.
Let's go straight to the top. I'm a dealer. I'm here. I want to know, what do you got to offer?
Absolutely.
Show me the hardware.
I'm going to turn it over to the DSP Cowboy. We're going to give him a new name today, and that'll be the Speaker Cowboy.
Yeah, so we've got, it's Audiophile month, so we're just going to start off with a bang with the good stuff here. Signature MultiX is, and Guy can correct me if I'm mistaken on this one, but this was the dream for this whole brand. Guy launched the Signature platform a couple of years ago, which was a completely made in France line, carbon cones, his own basket design, all of his own tooling throughout. And there's a bunch of different levels in there, but there became a point where something truly special was needed to really bring that French sound to life, and this Signature MultiX platform is like nothing else out there. When we look through, there's a full range. This is a totally a la carte platform, so we've got a handful of different tweeters that are available for it. Two different mid-range options, different mid-bass options as well, and you get to go through and now cherry pick the exact components that are going to best match the installation required in the vehicle that's being worked on. So when we look through these guys here on the BLAM Cam, we've got our WS6 MultiX, which is to me the real gem of the whole lineup here. So this is a 6-inch mid-bass driver on it. The MultiX line is highlighted by that copper phase plug in the middle to separate that from the rest of the Signature line. When we look through to these guys here, when we spin it around to the backside, we move away from the carbon cone, but we see that
my goodness,
multi-neo ferrite magnet on the backside of things. So this is a really, really amazing design to have applied in the car. This gives us a few different options as far as benefits that are available through these guys. One, those neo magnets are incredibly strong for a given magnet size. In terms of physical size, we have substantially more, about 7 times the magnetic strength available over a standard ferrite magnet. So more control over the voice coil, more control over the movement of the driver itself. But the other big thing when it comes to how we listen in the car, as Larry and Guy had already touched on, we all have a little bit more fun in that listening environment. So power handling becomes a huge aspect to consider. And this open structure allows even more cooling and more ventilation to the voice coil, which means when you're putting it through the dynamic passages in your music, you're really leaning on it and enjoying the hell out of this system. That speaker is going to be there for you no matter what, all the way through. That MultiX design carries through the rest of the entire lineup when we're looking through. Just on the top corner of the table there, we've got the 8-inch mid-bass driver as well. So we're seeing more and more OEMs that are including 8-inch mid-bass drivers in their systems, whether it be Porsche, Audi, I mean, even domestic guys where we're using 6x9s in the doors or 8s and 10s and all of that kind of stuff. This gives us that big, powerful motor structure on the backside, but more cone area to push and lean into. This driver we use here in the retail store and push this thing definitely down to at least 40 hertz, if not lower in most cases. And the thing just goes. This will rattle your bones when you lean into this thing. In addition to obviously the power handling that we talked about, big cone area, one of the other big perks to the signature aspects is these are all 2 ohm and 3 ohm drivers, which means we're going to be getting maximum power out of amplification. So we don't need to be running big, huge amplifiers to really push these things to their excursion limits. The other side is because of that high strength magnet structure, lightweight cones, we're getting huge efficiency out of them. Most of the stuff in the signature MultiX line is between 93 and 95 decibel sensitivity. You combine that kind of sensitivity with a low frequency extension, and then on top of that, 100 to 150 watts of RMS power handling on it. These are drivers that will get up and go with the absolute best of them, but still give the audiophile performance that we're all looking for.
Chris, question for you. I can't help but notice. So that is a custom designed basket.
Yeah, if we pull up.
Let's just go back.
Actually.
Sorry, you heard me ooh and ah when you flipped the the speaker over. So let's talk about the backside first. If you don't mind, let's pick up. What is that? A 6.5 right in front? That's in front. Yeah.
Yep, that's the 6-inch there. We flip it over here so you can see the basket assembly, the shape and the design that Guy's come up with there.
So if you can show it, flip it even more. I just wanted to point out. See, it's not. I knew it. I thought it was seeing things, but that's kind of like a twisted basket design, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so Guy, this was a super cool design, but Guy can kind of give some insight as to where that design started and came from.
Yes, as the design was coming from a wheel, in a sport car.
Okay.
was the idea. But yes, as you saw, all our baskets are exclusive for almost each model. Can see, and we design each new basket according to the performances. Especially, you can see that the basket is a little deep, but in the 8-inch MultiX, for example, you have a 17 millimeters long voice coil. It means the X Max is very big, and for example, rap music with deep bass and keep good voice, because the voice coil will not go outside the gap. As you can see in the middle, the voice coil is really, really long for this kind of driver.
Because it looks deceivingly shallow. It doesn't look like a very deep design, but yet you're telling me it's a super long throw on as far as the excursion on the voice coil is concerned.
The excursion is amazing for this kind of speaker.
The other question I had while I have you, Guy, what was the deciding factor on the cone material? Are those is that like a carbon fiber type of woven material that I see throughout all the drivers?
Yes, for the 6-inch, we use a single layer of carbon, but the main part is the design at the back side, because the carbon is a fabric, and after to make strong, we have to use a special resin. And for this, we use a very smart guy who is used to design carbon bicycle, help us to design the resin, who makes the carbon at the same time and with keeping a good damping.
It's very important. No, go ahead. I'll let you finish. Sorry, Guy.
Yes, and on the 8-inch, you can see it's a double layer. We have at the front the carbon, at the back we have a double layer of fiberglass to make the cone even more strong, as is a little shallow.
I see. I see. So, my comment to that is, I absolutely like what Guy's saying there. That the resin is actually the trick to engineering carbon fiber. All carbon fibers are pretty similar. There's only 2 or 3 types of carbon fiber that exist, but the resin is what makes a difference every single time. Whether you're building a race car, a monocoque bicycle, a golf club, whatever it may be, the resin is what makes a difference. So there's obviously a signature kind of combination formula of resin that BLAM has figured out, and that's being applied here. Okay, now, Chris, I'm going to pass this back to you, and I believe Larry. Did you have any comments here, Larry?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that 8-inch MultiX. We just finished off a Ferrari 812 GTS, and through trial and error, we found out that a subwoofer in that car, the transfer function into the actual cabin, the listening area, was non-existent with the subwoofer in the trunk. So we couldn't add a subwoofer, but this client wanted big dynamic bass. So we took
in his Ferrari. You want to jam in
the Ferrari. Yeah, okay. He wanted to jam in the Ferrari. So we took that MultiX 8 and ran it off the 160 watt channels from a match up 10 amplifier. And it's one of those moments that you always have where we just turned it on, and DSP Cowboy over here did the tuning, and I was playing around with it ourselves, and we got in and it was just like, oh my. the amount of energy and impact in the system, we were very, very pleased. But you never know until the client listens to it. So I delivered the car to the client's home that evening, and he came outside and we put on his favorite tune, and he turns it down. He says, my God, it sounds like a pair of 12s in here.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, it does. Now, it's not, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. The frequency response is there. Obviously, a pair of 12s is going to move a lot more air and have higher power handling. But in terms of the overall tonal balance of the system, it was amazing how deep these drivers got in that door. And just the impact was astounding, especially with all the tricks on the DSP side that you can do to push the driver
like
to the limits.
Not even like on a giant mono blocker. You were talking just off 2 channels bridged off a match amp, right?
An up 10 driving the whole system in this 812 off the factory radio. So
I didn't ask. Is this a single voice call or dual voice call configuration on the
single?
These are all singles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Single.
Yeah, you bet. And then I'll turn it over to Chris, and he can explain kind of how our a la carte system works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the whole signature lineup, MultiX and the original signature platform, are all available as a design your own kit kind of a project. So with any of them, you're going to start, pick your tweeter, pick your mid-range if applicable, pick your mid-bass driver, and then the full range of passive crossover networks are available as well, from simple 2-way, 3-way systems. You can get into the crossover designs allow you to do a still a multi-channel front end, so if you need something just between a tweeter and a mid-range, or just between a mid-bass and a mid-range to run a 3-way system off a 4-channel amplifier, it's totally configurable. But even above and beyond that, it's not just one tweeter, one mid-bass. When we're looking through the lineup, Guy's provided us with almost a half a dozen different tweeter solutions between large format big diaphragm tweeters, big mounting plates on them, to small OEM style stuff in there, both soft dome and pure magnesium hard dome tweeters that are available. So that's the signature MultiX soft dome. TSM25 S45 is the one we're looking at right there. Beautiful machined housing on these things. From a mounting standpoint, they're all threaded from the backside, so you can actually go through and simply secure this straight to a panel and use that threaded backing plate on there to screw on and secure it in place. So you've got some nice, easy to work with options on that side of things. Most of these tweeters will come with a cup of some kind as well, so you can actually go through, if you have to do a simple surface mount or something like that, you can have the nice angled mount to get everything in place on that end as well. The tweeter tweeter that we're looking at there, like I said, that's the soft dome version. There's also a pure magnesium dome. So depending on the flavor that your client is looking for, the system that you're trying to design, if you want something, it's got a little bit more high frequency edge to it, a little bit more of that we'll call the traditional car audio fun factor that's in there. That hard dome becomes an available option for you there. The other cool one that's just about to release.
This is something new. New product alert. Here we go.
We're chomping at the bit here. Guy might not be happy that we're going to talk about this one right now, but we have to tell the world because we are so excited to have that pure magnesium dome platform in a 20mm diameter as well. So this allows us an even smaller footprint to fit into more cars, factory locations, or get them into small pods on the A-pillars or sail panels or anything like that. Small tweeters open up more versatility when we're in the bays to getting great high-performance sound systems into more applications. So this is a tweeter that we're really excited to get our hands on. Beautifully machined. This thing is absolute artwork. I don't know if we can get the camera to zoom in on that threaded ring, if it'll focus in there, but the machine work and stuff that's in there is just, there we go.
There it is.
Just stunning little details. And this goes back to one of the things that I've always loved about this BLAM lineup is that touchy-feely aspect, Ben, that you had touched on earlier, is when we're looking at audiophile products, this is also gearhead jewelry at the same time for us. It's not just about the specs and the numbers, but how does it make you feel? Where's the pride of ownership that comes along with it? The attention to detail really caters to that, and that is something that this line has always put at the forefront with performance, is making sure that, you know, when you pull the trigger and you put your first BLAM product into your own audio system, you buy your first piece, it's not just something that's going to get buried behind a panel. This is something that you're going to think about and talk about and hold and want to show off and absolutely cherish ownership to that side of things.
You had me at custom machined cross engraved tweeter. I mean, you stole the word out of my mouth. That looks like jewelry, Guy. Like, it doesn't look like just, I mean, let's be honest, 98% of tweeters, if you look at it quickly, all look the same. Right? It's a small, they're black, there's a little grill over it, there's a logo somewhere. 98% of the tweeters look the same. That tweeter, I think all your tweeters should look like that tweeter. That's what I think.
We also have the gold one. This is a high-end one. This one is a real high-end one. It's quite big, but in terms of performances, for me, the best tweeter that it's a fantastic compromise between smooth and mid-range. Yeah, this one is going up to 40K. It's a 40K tweeter.
Okay.
Yes, but still very smooth as a soft dome, and detail as the most strong metal dome. It's a very, very good compromise. A special neodymium ring with 42. With the highest grade of neodymium to have the maximum efficiency and the maximum flux to have the best control of the voice coil.
Very sexy. I'm using the word sexy. I don't know other word to use at this point. Yes, sexy. That is sexy. I don't know what else we want to say about those tweeters other than the fact that that is bling on a small package. But I can't help but keep my eyes off that cute little, what is that, 3-4 incher that's kind of hiding between the tweeters and the woofers?
Yeah, so there's the MultiX 3-inch variant. So we had mentioned you pick your tweeter, next step you're going to go through and pick your mid-range. So what's going to happen in there? So that's the 3-inch variant. So you can see it carries that same copper face plug theme through. It's got the Made in France badge to make sure that there is no question of where these products come from. Still has that same scaled multi-neo magnet structure on the back side of things. Gets that same bespoke basket design that Guy has through the rest of it. So this looks just like the 6-inch, just scaled down to give you your location mountings that are in there. But in addition to the 3-inch is the other new piece of the puzzle, which is going to be the brand spanking new, to be freshly released shortly, MultiX 2-inch variant as well.
So new product alert right here.
We've got a couple of them floating around here today.
All right.
With these guys, as we know, it's not just the North American market. Globally, we are seeing more of these wideband type installations where we've got a mid-bass driver in the doors and we've got a speaker on top of the dash. That's it, no tweeter. So making sure that we've got something that can play full range all the way up frequencies to partner with that mid-bass, fit into the factory locations. This 2-inch opens up a ton of versatility on that side of things. The other nice thing is it's not just designed to be that middler, that wideband, whatever word you want to attach to it, but this can be used in that three-way system as well. So when you're going through, if you've got a client who wants to do a really high-end system and he wants the pillars built, he wants tweeter and mid-range right up on the A pillars, now you've got an option where you can have something that fills that mid-range void, but again, keeps that low profile, something that's going to blend to a certain extent with that type of installation. I mean, there's guys out there that want the big pillars and don't care what has to be done to make it happen, but the vast majority of people still want to see out their front windshield and have something be a little bit more subtle in there. So having these 2-inch options just versatility, different options for opening up different systems and really bringing the whole package to life.
Guy, that 2-inch looks so good. I want it just sitting on my desk. I don't even care how it sounds at this point because it looks so darn good. Guy, can you tell us a little bit about this new 2-inch driver that's going to finish the system here?
Yeah, this 2-inch, the main goal was to have a long version, to have the possibility to reproduce the low, from 250 up to 25K. And to reproduce 250 hertz, need to have an excursion. And this was a very big challenge. It's why we have to design a new basket with a very special shape. And it was quite difficult to make, but we're very happy with the result, because when you have this in front of you, you can have very good voice and very easy to cross with the woofer in the low part of the door.
Yes, yes. How low did that goes down to 250? Did you say?
Yeah, can be used up to 250. Yes, with a 12 dB crossover. Yes.
Very unique piece. There's not many pieces out there that are in that form factor in our industry right now. So I'd like to congratulate you on that, on engineering that piece, for sure. Chris, anything you want to add before we get into? I see you're setting up the BLAM cam here for new product, but just to close out on the MultiX.
Yeah, the MultiX, like I said, is just a truly special lineup between the technologies that are being used in there, the fit, the finish, the performance of the package, and then the versatility of having the entire a la carte design to scale the system any way that you need to or want to for your particular system design in there. There's not much else out there that can hang with what Guy has accomplished with that line. So a quick cheers to Guy and his team on that side of things, because it is every time we have the opportunity to play with a set, to install them, whether it's here or have one of our dealers outfit a new system, the accolades that come in are always over the top. So very, very cool stuff there.
And just to summarize that, that entire line is all made where Guy is sitting in France.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that is an entire made in France.
Behind the door. We might have to do a little walkthrough one day of your facility there, Guy. That'd be amazing to see how that works. We'll save that for something in the future. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, what do we have here on the BLAM cam?
So next we're going to dive into the live line. So at first we hit the audiophile stuff hard and heavy up top, but we really wanted to touch on this because of how special and how unique this little category is. This is where we're going to need Guy to dive in and really explain how this series came to be and why live was voiced in the characteristics that it was, because this is like nothing else on the market. So I won't pull the curtain back too far. We'll let Guy, if he's ready, dive into it and enlighten us on this category.
Yeah, live was coming also of the mix of the discussion we had before, and Larry asking about what is the good compromise to have some driver with enough power handling to give good sensation. This compromise is very good because either we use a soft dumb tweeter. We have a very shape of the cone who give very good mid-range, and the natural roll-off of each speaker is very good. Need very little crossover because we work a lot on behind to make a kind of I would say organic filter made by the natural roll-off of the speaker. And the compromise is very good with good power handling and very smooth and live sound.
So when it comes to, I understand what you mean. It's like an organic result because of the roll off, like you're saying. But there's something very special about the different options the customer has when it comes to the voicing. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea of offering different voicings of this set of speakers?
Yes, because of course the demand is different when you have a customer who want to listen some techno music, who are focused on the power, and some people who are more focused on the how to say, on the vocal, or some people on classical or acoustic music.
Mm-hmm.
It is why we don't make some speaker with different things, but we make different tuning to have a chance to be acoustic. Acoustic is a speaker who is made for the people who like acoustic and vocal and pop music and things who need a lot of detail. We have made the power have power handling with bigger voice coil, with a little harder damper and more excursion. And we have also made the LSQ with a special one. LSQ, we have a very a sound very warm, as was in the 80s when at that time we used to listen with vinyl. It's a kind of warm and easy listening with the mid-range and the kick bass a little in front compared with the other. And it gives a chance of giving a product who will fit exactly the request of the customer. Not only because of design or price range or whatever, but really in terms of acoustic. And this is very interesting.
I'm going to say it's very, very interesting. I don't know of another brand or offering that has designed an offering this way, because this leads, and I'm going to go back to Chris or Larry on this. This leads to a deeper conversation with the customer. You know what I mean? It's about, what fits in your car. Then it's about, what power do you need to go about. But now you're getting really personal and say, okay, well, now that we've established this stuff, what kind of music do you listen to? And go to that deeper level of interaction, if you will.
Yeah, it's pretty evident when we first got the prototype versions of the live line in. I have to admit, I was a little skeptical about how this voicing was going to work, and we put these 3 levels of speakers on our display. So L165P is the power, L165A is for acoustic, and 165 LSQ is kind of a all-around listening speaker. And if you look at the packaging on the speaker, if you've got new sales guys on your team, the packaging, the graphics on the packaging indicate what that speaker's for. So the power stuff has a DJ on the face of the packaging. The acoustics has a guitar, and the LSQ has a picture of an old vinyl piece on the front of the packaging. So we had gone through our company, and Sue, many of you out there from our dealer base will know Sue, and
Everybody
she's very
knows
knowledgeable.
Everybody knows.
I know. I'm just the spokesmodel. But we we put the 3 speakers on and we played a techno track. And I went through the 3 different speakers and I said, which speaker do you like best on this track? And she said, those ones. And she pointed to the powers. And then I put on a female vocal and I said, okay, now which one do you like? And she picked the acoustic. And then we put on some Steely Dan and I said, now which one do you like? And she goes, well, that one. And she pointed to the LSQ. And I go, okay, it works. And so we've built our displays as we have displays available for these products, and you can take that way of presenting the speaker. So as Guy said, it's not a different color for this series, and this one's yellow, and this one's pink, and this one's blue.
Can I interject though, Larry? He did say something very interesting. It's not just from a crossover standpoint. There are some physical attributes that Guy was mentioning that make
absolutely,
like the Power series is a little bit more excursion, a little bit deeper voice coil, like you said. So there is some physical characteristics that are different between
absolutely.
The series as well.
It's as I said, for me it was like, okay, I don't know how apparent this is going to be, so let's give it a go. And we do this all the time in the showroom. And it's very apparent of how this works. So from a retailer standpoint, for all our dealers out there, if you have those 3 speakers on the display and the price points are very similar between the 3, so when you're working with somebody and you're talking to them about what kind of music they listen to and how they want to enjoy that music in the car, then you can confidently say, I've got the perfect loudspeaker for you, and tell the BLAM history and story, talk about live and how the different speakers have been voiced for different music, and this speaker has been designed for you and the way you listen to music in your car. And it's just a beautiful way to present products.
Yeah, very, very cool. Chris, I'll pass it to you. Anything you'd like to go through as far as each speaker real quick?
Yeah, I mean, with the different drivers themselves, Guy had mentioned the tweeter carries through the entire series of the bunch. The crossovers are modified slightly, but the big variation comes in on the mid-bass driver side of things. When we're looking through these, as we were looking at them on the BLAM cam, if we look at the Power mid-bass driver, this is a dramatically different speaker than everything else in the lineup. This gets the aluminum phase plug in there, and yes, that is metal, whereas most companies are shifting those to plastic to help mitigate costs. Guy is still committed to doing what is the best way it can be done. So we're still getting the aluminum phase plug in there that's going to help dissipate heat energy. It's also going to help improve off-axis response. We do get one consistent theme through there, which actually follows the entire BLAM lineup, which is that basic basket shape. We're seeing that twisted design that we saw in the signature products as well. We're looking at a big magnet, big motor structure. The internal side of things of voice coil and those aspects are unique to this driver. Now, as we go back the other way and we look at, say, the LSQ, which is kind of your all-around warm, natural sounding speaker, we've given up the phase plug. We've gone to a different cone material, different magnet, different motor structure, different voice coil. These aren't just subtle little differences as you move through the line. This speaker is changing entirely because it is hitting a specific target of what Guy's been trying to accomplish in terms of delivering the sound that the client is looking for in each particular vein. The other nice thing about this that we can see in the front there is the speaker has a coax option as well. So you've still got something that you can go through and match from the front to the back of the car all the way through. So with these guys here, all available in 6-inch sizes, there's also mid-range options to go along with these guys as well. So another full lineup to give you everything that you need to attack all of these new cars. We see the 6s there. We've got an 8-inch mid-bass driver option to deal with for those cars that are having that location available. It's definitely a worthwhile thing to take advantage of by nearly double the cone area by going to that 8-inch. This is built on the power structure as far as the magnet motor structure and the horsepower in behind the scenes. But like I said, the mid-range collection that goes along with these guys as well. There's both dedicated mid-range solutions as well as wideband extended frequency options as well. So in the 3-inch size, we've got a dedicated mid-range to partner with the set. We've also got that wideband, what's called the LFR 80, FR being full range. There's also an LFR 50, so there's a 2-inch option that goes with this set as well. So again, when we're looking at designing systems to adapt into all kinds of different cars, this one category can give you an incredible story to tell to your customers and let them pick the system that is going to be best for the way they use their package, but then now they can go through and tailor it to the vehicle as well. So in terms of delivering exactly what the customer is looking for and what they want to listen to and what they want to enjoy, in this category, again, there's just nothing else like it that can deliver what this does.
I want to comment on something that it might be a little bit off what we're talking about, yet I feel it's very important for the dealer just to think about. It's kind of like the difference. If you're selling a speaker, it's kind of like selling a Swiss Army knife. It kind of does. It doesn't matter what kind of music you listen to. This is the speaker. Now you're deciding which speaker. Once we get past the sizes, now you're deciding solely based on budget.
Yep.
Right? You spend more, you'll get maybe a little bit more power handling, you get a little fancier neodymium mag, whatever, all those features. This is a total lateral type of discussion instead of a vertical discussion. Because
Correct.
Now we're talking, if you're eating steak, well, I have a steak knife for you. If you're paring a fruit, I have a paring knife for you. And you understand what I mean? It's a totally different conversation.
And this is really cool in this category with live products, because you've got the changes, albeit the physical changes can be quite dramatic from one speaker to the other. When we're actually sitting down and listening to it, it's subtle little changes through the frequency response, little changes in terms of what it highlights or where it highlights that make the difference. It's not that Guy has zeroed the power speaker into nothing but kick you in the chest bass and everything else is rubbish. It's just a little bit here, a little less there, and we've slightly shaped this whole thing.
And Chris, if I was to play the same track and then switch from speaker to speaker, let's say the same model, call it the coaxial or the component set, I am confident you will hear those shifts as you talk through what you're about to hear.
Well, that was the fun part. As Larry had told the story about Sue going through and kind of cherry picking the speaker that was catered towards the music. Before we launched the product in North America, we started doing the same tests with customers that were coming into the proof of concept store. We were able to go through and actually say, we're going to do some experimentation here. We're going to play around. And we did this with every customer, not just speaker customers, but if somebody had come in for a remote start or a dash cam or a radar detector or whatever, we said, hey, give me a couple minutes. I want you to do a quick listening test here for me. And we would pick a song, whatever it was, from one genre. So say it was an EDM song. And we would throw it on and we would ask them, no details, didn't know what they were doing. Just said, which is your favorite? And the power speaker was a 9-fold selection for these customers. And then we'd go through the next week and we'd pick a different song, grab a Norah Jones track, a Diana Krall, something like that, something very heavily vocal focused. And we'd put that through and do the same batch of tests. Every customer that comes in, give me 2 minutes, take a listen to this. And we would start picking different songs, and we found that this wasn't just something that we, with audio ears and people that were looking for these key features, were zeroing in on. It was everybody. It was so easy to pick out the subtleties. And like I said, it's not that one sounds bad and this one sounds bad and this is the one that sounds really good on this song. They're all beautiful, but there is just these subtle little hints that come out for certain genres. And there's, like I said, there's nothing out there that I've ever experienced that can do what this lineup does.
And what I wanted to clue in on is, if you want to offer your customers a different, more intimate, more bespoke audio decision experience, this is something that's very unique in the market, because now you're giving literally options that probably the shop before never offered.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying there. Guy, I want to give you the last word before we move on from this. Anything you'd like to say based on what we are discussing with your live series?
No, I think it was a very nice application, and it's perfect.
Okay, good. We did impress justice. That's the whole point. I'm looking at the clock. What else are we covering here today, guys? Or is this kind of where we want to leave it off as far as Audiophile is concerned?
Well, that's what the episode was going to be all about, was Audiophile. So we wanted to bring out the best of the best and we felt that understanding the live and the voicing that Guy has done on the live speakers was really important from that category perspective. So I just wanted to take a sec to thank Guy for all of his hard work on these products, because it makes it a pleasure to present in the North American market. He stands by the product. Any little issues or problems we have a very tight relationship with Guy. And maybe Guy, if you want to speak to that as far as our relationship is concerned on your end.
Yes. We are very lucky because we know each other for a very, very long time, almost 30 years. Kind of,
oh man, you're dating us.
But the thing is fantastic is that after so many years, we still speak with the same passion of sound, and we still have fun when listening music in the car. And it's something amazing because it's a big part of the life. Our life is driven by passion, and this is very good when we have a chance to wake up every day to make something we like, to make something to make us exciting. And for this, I really want to thank you and all your team and all the MSC team who give us the chance to sharing this passion and doing business and growing and have a chance other people, especially in the show, as we had in Phoenix, for example. It was very nice to see some dealer coming and give us some comment in a direct live. This is very good. And we will work even more hard to bring a lot of new things for the next coming year. We have a lot of ideas, a lot of projects, and we have a good, very good feedback, and it's very important because, of course, we have idea, but the feedback of MSC people is very, very important because sometimes they have very, very good idea.
Yes, well, I could tell you this, Guy. I can tell you this. MSC, under their umbrella of dealer network, has some of the best dealers and installers that North America has to offer. So any feedback they can provide is certainly very valuable. On that note, Guy, I want to extend my thank you to you on behalf of CMA for making the time today. I know it's a little bit late over there. You stayed behind to do this for us. Hearing you explain the ideas and the concepts that you had in your own words, it makes a tremendous difference. So we appreciate you coming in. Congratulations on the new products that we talked about today. And more importantly, happy 10-year anniversary next year if we don't get to chat with you before 2023.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay. That was Guy Bonneville. We're just going to go back and check in as we sign off with our good friends here at MSC. Yeah, that dude knows what's going on. That's what I'm going to say there, for sure. His passion is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's viral. It's infectious. You know, I mean, you can hear it, see it, live it. And he's come up with some pretty unique product. I mean, the high-end thing, I mean, I got to say it again. That 2-inch is just absolute killer. Just the way, I mean, the neodymium magnet layout, it's just as wide as the, you know what I mean, as the surface. That's just crazy. And of course, I think the value, I have no question that these sound great. Where I value this, though, guys, is that discussion that we're having about the experience, the retail shopping experience from a customer standpoint when introducing this into the whole method and the whole procedure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think from a dealer perspective, it's very important for all of our dealers in North America, or prospective dealers in North America, that we are running a very protected area. We want everybody to have their success in their own market. We were talking with our U.S. team, and another brand in a city in California within a 18-mile radius of that gentleman's store, this other brand had 23 dealers within an 18-mile radius. And we just don't believe that speakers of this quality, of this caliber, and the requirement to present it in a certain way should be done with that kind of dealer base. So we want to keep it tight. We want to keep a tight-knit family group that can share ideas and keep driving the business with a smaller amount of dealers more dedicated to what we do because we're dedicated to what they do. And that's really what it boils down to for us from a marketing perspective with the brand. So we've got the products, we've got the technology, you've got to protect the dealer base. You've got our team here that I can assure you will give you all the support and training that you need and give you that protected territory that we all love to have on the retail side.
It's almost as if you want to do it different, better, and together.
Hey, yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. If you're looking for more information on BLAM products, that's the international website, blam-audio.com. Lots of goodies. Be warned, there's a lot of sexy jewelry-ish type of goodies on that website. But I warn you now. And if you're a dealer and you're like, yep, I want me some of this, msc-america.com. Doesn't matter what side of the border you're on, Canada or the US, get a hold of msc-america.com. They are the exclusive importer and distributor for BLAM Audio in North America. Gentlemen, very cool. Way to start off the Audiophile month. Love it. Keep it going.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Take care. Want to remind you to continue tuning in to my favorite month, Audiophile, straight through until November 10th. Check out that lineup. Like, if you're into high-end gear, you need to keep it locked right here on CMA Networks. And if you're into high-end gear, which means you're probably into fabrication and high-end installing, then you'd be very interested in this contest we got going on. It's called the Ultimate Fab Experience Giveaway. Man, just sign up. Get to cmanetworks.com/giveaway. It's free to register. We are giving away 2 free trips, one for an American, one for a Canadian, to get to MasterTech Expo in 2023. And if you're on our website, of course, I'm going to remind you to check out all the great videos we've done with both MSC, check out their playlist, or maybe type in BLAM. Go to the BLAM page and check out all the other videos we've talked about BLAM audio products that weren't covered on today's show. It's CMA Networks, where the 12-volt industry connects. That's it for the CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today we're gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?